right, we've been cleared for takeoff because we are live with the community in the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Development Biweekly Call. Today is February 13th. We are almost halfway through the month. Where is 2025 going? Time flies when you're having fun, and that's what we're doing. What do we got in store for this call? Well, let's talk about it. We got the latest updates on the community, things like PNP.NET libraries and PowerShell, script samples, Copilot Pro Dev samples, Power Platform samples, all the samples, all the time. And of course, everybody's favorite time is together mode, so get those fantastic faces ready. And we've got a plethora, which means a lot to us, a plethora of amazing Copilot and AI demos today. 3 all-star presenters. Mahmoud is going to talk about Microsoft AI agents, types, build tools, and licensing. Stephanie is going to wow us with building a Power Automate flow using Copilot. And then Mr. Dad Joke, Todd Klindt, is going to round it out with making your first Copilot agent in SharePoint. So lots of exciting stuff to talk about today. But first, let's take a look at all those amazing resources that are available to each and every one of you. And if you're new to the call and you're thinking, well, what are these resources? They are absolutely free. All of these things in the community, such as our Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel, our LinkedIn group for discussions, all of our open source tooling like PNP.JS or CLI for Microsoft 365, and of course, all the wonderful samples that we're going to hear more about today, they're all free. And why? Because of amazing people like you making contributions in the community. So we want you to absolutely be aware that we appreciate everything you're doing and we're thankful, and you can get access to all these resources at ak.ms/community/home. Again, 100% free, made possible by the amazing compassion and passion by all of you in the community. So thank you. Now, if you're on this call because you like community calls, well, we got more. Our weekly, each Tuesday, Microsoft 365 and Power Platform, Microsoft Presenters Call. Now, why is this special? Why is it weekly? Because it's coming at you directly from the mothership. Those project managers, those program managers, they are all here to share with you information about the things that they are working hard on. So it's a wonderful opportunity to kind of get connected with those that are doing and creating all that technology we use. Of course, we've also got our other community-led community calls. Power Platform monthly call is next Wednesday. We're going to have a wonderful call in store there. We've got our Office add-ins and, of course, our bi-weekly sibling calls. The one you're on now, Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Community, and Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework. Those are every Thursday, 7 a.m. Pacific time. Rain, shine, snow, doesn't matter. We're going to be here for you. Holiday, doesn't matter. We are going to have a call, and we're going to be there for you. You can get access to all of these calls at ak.ms/community/calls. Make sure you get them on your invites, or get those invites on your calendar, everybody. These are absolutely a crystal ball into what's new, what's now, and what's next. Great way to get collaborating with the community. Now, speaking of that Tuesday call, coming up on the 18th of February, next Tuesday, David Abu is going to be talking about empowering communities with Copilot Studio. Nyanya and Shishkank is going to be talking about building Copilot agents with single sign-on. And Vesa is going to be here to talk about preview to SharePoint Framework 1.21. You do not want to miss that, absolutely. Everybody loves a little sneak preview. Now, as you're watching the call today and you're seeing wonderful presenters from the community presenting on things that you think are cool, I'm sure you're thinking, I got things that are cool. You do, and we welcome you to share them on these community calls. All you got to do is fill in this form, ak.ms/request/demo. We will reach out to you. We will schedule you on an upcoming open available time slot, and we will even work with you. If you need any help in kind of crafting, we can be a buddy or assign a buddy. So don't be afraid, and don't overthink it. It doesn't need to be what makes time travel possible. Great Scott! Doesn't need to be a flux capacitor. Just has to be something you're passionate about and you think others will benefit by, and I guarantee you they will. Of course, just no sales calls. We just want to make sure this is a good community opportunity to collaborate. Now, while you're watching some of these samples and you're thinking, I want to use them, I want to know how to use them, I even want to contribute to them, but that hub of gets, that Git of hubs, that thing that we use to share that software, I don't understand it. Well, you're not alone, and we have set up Sharing is Caring to provide hands-on guidance. So these Sharing is Caring sessions, they're live Teams calls. We're going to join in. They're safe space, which means we do not record them, so you're free to ask any and all questions without the fear of going, should I already know the answer to this? Nobody else is asking. This is being recorded. It's going to be forever. Don't worry, we don't record it. It's a great way to collaborate. We're also getting additional sessions around more technical and tactical ways to use the software, like responsive Power Apps and component libraries for Power Apps, working with April Dunham on that. And Stephanie Marshall and Todd Klindt, who just coincidentally happen to be presenting today too, are going to be helping out soon as well. So keep an eye out for those schedules. We're super, super excited. And once you do contribute, we want to recognize you for the amazing work that you're doing. And so our recognition program is alive and well, and it is growing. We've got the wonderful newer-ish badges, Prompt Pro, Snippet Sorcerer. We got the event badges, Powerful Dev, SharePoint Hackathon, Repo Rescuer, and what is that? Modern Search. There's a brand new Modern Search badge that's going to be available for all those who are involved with Modern Search. I know Casper, the friendly contributor, is super excited about what we're going to see here in that. So if you're contributing to Modern Search, or you want to think about it, then reach out to Casper and you can earn a badge, and we've got even more coming. This is an absolutely free program. There is no cost for you. All we need you to do is opt in so that we can track the work that you're doing and link it up to GitHub and then send you those badges 100% free. And it's our way of saying thank you for the amazing work that you're doing. Okay, let's get into some project specific dates. First up is our prompt library. So we've got a number of prompt libraries, one of which is our Copilot prompts. And again, we're all kind of becoming that prompt engineer. We're finding ways to kind of speak, as Stephanie will talk about, our love language with AI today. You all have ways in which we've not all thought about it, but share it. This is one of the easiest ways to get involved and start sharing and contributing to the community, because we all have those prompts. All you got to do is write it down and share it. And you could be the prompt of the week, just like Cyprian, who has created a creator agent. Now, this is like a system prompt of the week. You could say all systems are a go for this prompt. Thank you, Cyprian. It helps create Copilot agents and all that kind of stuff. So a wonderful, wonderful way to utilize these. A great way to see how you can use the technology, how others are using it. Sometimes we get tunnel vision and it's hard to see outside the scope of what we're working on. These samples help us see ways in which we can use the technology. So don't hesitate to reach out, use them, contribute to them, and you could be the prompt of the week. All right, let's move on to PNP.NET libraries with Bert.
Yes, David, thank you. PNP.NET libraries. So for the PNP framework, we just, let's call it a slightly older library, well, old being like 8-9 years already, so really old. And Cross Decay, we just did slightly newer, but again, also 4 years old now library. Like the last period was pretty quiet, meaning, which is good. I guess folks need what they have in the library. Usage is going up, so it's being used a lot. Like you see 123,000 tenants in January using it, doing almost more than 60 billion requests. So usage is skyrocketing. But there's no like major work going on for the moment. If you miss something, if you need something, just reach out, let us know, and then we can work on that. Also, if you like to contribute, there's a few open issues which are flagged as I need to help. So if you want to do some .NET coding, feel free to jump in. And with that, back to PowerShell with Gautam. Thank you all, folks. See you next time.
Awesome. Thank you, Bert. Got him? What do you got in the world of PowerShell?
Thank you, David. Thanks, Bert. In the world of PNP PowerShell, things have been a bit quiet in the past 2 weeks, but they haven't been too quiet. So we did add 2 commands. They are related to Enterprise App Insights report. So if you want to fetch that report or you want to start that generation of that particular report, we added commandlets, and then you can use those commands to fetch the reports related to App Insights. What else? Things. Feel free to reach out to us on the GitHub issues as well as on the discussion forums. V3 is coming soon. I've been saying this for some time now, but yeah, it's coming really soon. So, yep, that's pretty much from my end. Okay, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, got him. Let's move on to script samples with Mr. Paul Bullock.
Hey everybody, so script samples is a place where you can contribute your PowerShell scripts or Bash scripts. I'm even toying with the idea of Python scripts. I've seen clients who write samples in Python to interrupt the M365 service. So if you do want, are interested in contributing Python scripts, I will happily expand the site if you feel like this would be the space to share it with the community. I'm sure there are some out there, but by all means, I will make it happen. So yes, we saw a variety of tooling. We got Microsoft Graph, PNP PowerShell, SPM Management Shell, and CLI. Many more. There's really no limit to what you can store here in terms of samples. So, and also it's integrated in the Microsoft Solution Sample Gallery, so it's also visible there. And also Alan Wojcik has created an awesome extension for Visual Studio Code that actually surface these in those extensions, which is super cool. So we've had a contribution this week from Sharon Park, actually, which is an interesting one because I don't have a Mac, so I would never have spotted this as an issue, but apparently the DS store files are getting in the way of some Mac users. So she actually contributed to help with the removal of those. So seriously, thank you for that. I would never have seen that happen. So because again, I don't have a Mac, so I would never have spotted that one. So absolutely, thank you for that contribution. And yeah, if you've got any feedback on the site, or you want me to expand on the site, if you feel like there's something you want to contribute, you think is a barrier, you can reach out to me. I'm reachable on many social media platforms, or even in the community calls. You pick your method, and I will support you there. If you have contributed, there is a badge. I do need to upgrade the imagery to 2025. That's on my shopping list to do. But yeah, there is a badge for yourself as well. But remember to opt in. So back to you, David. Thank you very much, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. And I think like if we got Python, that has the potential to have quite a bite, right? Quite. All right. Don't. Let's move on. Bob, Mr. Bob the Builder for Copilot Pro Dev Samples. What say you today?
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Yeah, so we have a big update to one of the samples today, which is, you've probably seen this one. It was demoed at a lot of conferences, the Trey Research Declarative Agent. It's a consulting scenario. So if you do any kind of consulting, or if you've ever hired a consultant, this is going to resonate probably. Getting authentication to work previously was a manual, many steps, and now app registrations revisioning. We've made it so short we even got rid of the P, so it's revisioning now. I guess I can't type very well. Is now automated using Teams Toolkit. So F5, and it provisions everything and just works. Easy Auth is no longer used, so that's going to cause a little bit of an update to some guidance that I gave on a previous call, and that'll be updated on a new call on March 11th. And there's a bunch of new Declarative Agent labs on the way, so watch Copilot Camp site for that. So I'm excited about all that, and would love to see some more contributions to the ProDev samples. And back to you, Dave.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. Next up is our Power Platform samples, snippets, and prompts with Kate.
Yeah, hello everybody. Thank you very much, David. So for the Power Platform sample snippets and prompts area, we are happy to have 3 new additions to samples and a snippet. The first sample came from Manish Salanki. This is a Power Automate flow that handles unanswered Teams messages. Very flexible. You can configure the message that will be sent, the Teams team, and the channel. Simple yet powerful to remind participants to take an action. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Manish. The second sample built by James Williams, and this is a cool Canvas app component that's capable to dynamically detect hashtags from a text and put them as an actionable button. This button looks nicely, and its width dynamically adjusts based on the hashtag length. You can also select or deselect available hashtags. Very, very cool. And thank you very much, James, for this awesome sample. And we have a code snippet for Power Apps crafted by Marcel Ferreira. This snippet helps you to build a calendar in Power Apps Canvas. It includes all required components and controls to make lovely and functional calendar. Great work, and thank you for this snippet, Marcel. It's so wonderful to see such a great solutions, and thank you so much for all our contributors. What is the best part? All these sample snippets and prompts are completely free and unmanaged, so you can easily start to work with them, and I encourage you to do so. And even more, why not to become a contributor? If you would like to know more about how to contribute, just follow the link or join sharing is caring sessions, or just ping me, for example, via LinkedIn. Let's learn and grow together. Yeah, that's all from my side, and back to you, David.
Awesome. Great stuff. Thank you, everybody, for contributing, and all of our contributors. Amazing work. Really, really always inspired by you all. All right, what time is it? It is picture time. So get those cameras turned on with those fantastic faces. I've got together mode set up here, and everybody's looking pretty clear, which is good. So let me just turn on Camtasia. There we go. There we go. Move that over there. Excellent. Excellent. All right. A couple more seconds. We're doing good on time. So we've got a little bit of time. If everybody wants to just click those cameras on. Great to see you all. Again, always wonderful to see smiling faces and all the wonderful work you're doing. Got a couple seconds of Essa starting to get those fingers warmed up. He is doing the dance. Bob is sharing his cup of New England. I think that is, if I remember correctly. SharePoint Saturday New England, maybe. All right,
SharePoint Saturday New England lives on in this cup.
Yes, look at that. I remember that. Yes. Okay. All right, let's do the countdown, everybody. Let's say 3, 2, 1. Wave to the community. Great to see everybody. Such wonderful community contributors. We love you all. Amazing stuff. You're doing awesome. Really appreciate it. Great to see you. Thank you for being here and spending time with us. Excellent stuff. Okay, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program, and that is going to kick us off. We are going to...
527, ready for departure.
That's right, ready for departure with our amazing presenters. Mahmoud is going to kick us off with Microsoft AI agents, types, build, tools, and licensing, a hat trick. Mahmoud, take it on over if you would like.
Yeah, thank you, David, and hello, everyone. Let me share my screen and let me take you through it. Okay, so yeah, as David mentioned, today I am going to tell you a little bit about everything Microsoft AI agent, types, build, tools, and licensing. But because this is my first ever community call, I would say that I wanted to start with really thank you. Thank you for being that awesome all the years. Thank you for helping me and many other being very successful over the years. You are doing a great job. Please just keep it going. You rocks. So with this kind of introduction, let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Mahmoud Hassan. I am a modern workplace evangelist, business leader, and architect. I'm also Microsoft MVP and working at Avanade. And currently, I am. If you are following me, you will find that I am sharing my long articles and so on, and at LinkedIn for short updates. You can find me over X and Blue Sky. So this is very short introduction about myself, and let me go directly to it. So as we are talking today about everything Microsoft AI agent, and also we are going to discuss license, first of all, I want to say that I am not a license expert. This is why everything I'm going to say about license, you need to think about that is coming from AI agent that you need to review and validate with your Microsoft account licensing team before starting any project. And the second main point that I wanted to start with, that from Microsoft point of view, from end user perspective, it is always just agent. So today we are talking about different type. We are talking about declarative. We are talking about custom engine agent. But actually, this is for us as a pro code or low code builder, just to understand the options, the different types, the license, and so on. But from end user perspective, it is just agent. And just to go directly to it, as discussed, for now we have two main types. We have declarative agent and we have custom engine agent. And when it comes to declarative agent, this is where you just customize by some kind of custom structure your Copilot stack, which is available with M365 Copilot, and maybe adding some kind of action and so on. But actually, you are not having some kind of deep customization or bringing your own model and so on. If you need this kind of options and flexibility, you need to go to custom engine agent. And we are going to dive deep a little bit more about this in a second. So let me start in the left, at least from my side, with declarative agent. And actually, from a declarative agent perspective, we have different type. And let me take you through it. Let me start at the top here with a completely free option from Microsoft. So this is a new product, new completely free thing from Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, that you can get it with any M365 SQ containing Entra ID. And at the beginning, this kind of agent, it is available within Copilot Chat, part of this free offering. And actually, the agent is completely free when you are reasoning over web data or you are reasoning over uploaded files, you are uploading it to the agent context, or even when you are building some kind of actions or AKA API plugins that you can connect it to any line of business application. And as you can see, we have a lot of flexibility. We have option to really build very complex agent with this kind of completely free SQ. But once you need some kind of more capability, once you need to have some kind of more reasoning over your M365 work data. And just to be specific, we are talking here about SharePoint and OneDrive data, and data coming from line of business application or external line of business application using the Microsoft Graph Connector. Or maybe also you need to use one of the low-code actions from Copilot Studio. This is where you need to have some kind of premium license over your free license. And for this, we have two types: Copilot Studio, pay-as-you-go plan, or maybe even the message backs part of the Copilot Studio. And I wanted to explain that actually you can have some kind of different combination between these two. So maybe you can just completely go pay-as-you-go plan. Maybe you can go completely message back only, or maybe you can start with message back, and when your message is completely consumed, you can just configure it to then consumed from pay-as-you-go. Just a pro tip for you here: how Microsoft is designed this feature, that to enable any this of kind combination, you need initially to start with enabling the pay-as-you-go plan, because in the background, Microsoft is provisioning the special Copilot chat environment inside Power Platform, and this is needed to configure any of this. Maybe in the future, Microsoft will have a different configuration option to just enable this kind of environment, and then you can, from the start, just to go to message back without enabling pay-as-you-go in the first place. So this is the different options we have right now with M365 Copilot Chat. From a build tools perspective, we can build agent in Copilot Chat using Teams Toolkit. We can build it also using the agent builder within the Copilot Chat experience. Or maybe if you go to Copilot Studio, but actually you need to be careful here, because if you go to the agent menu and build by default agent, this will be custom engine. And this is where you will find that in the top, you have different tabs and you have topics that you can create, topics, trigger, and so on. This is not the declarative agent. If you want to build a declarative agent with the full Copilot Studio, you need to go and find your M365 Copilot within this kind of experience, click on it, and within the M365 Copilot context, you will find another tab called the agent. This is where you go and build the agent. And to understand you are in the agent, you will be able just to define instruction, you define action, and that's it. So you will not find all the other option like creating topics and so on and so forth. From a channel perspective, currently with M365 Copilot Chat, you can just publish your agent to the Copilot Chat, and you don't have any other options than this. This is everything we have for M365 Copilot Chat, and once you wanted to have more, you can just enable the M365 Copilot license, and this is where we are moving to the second part we have in our presentation here. So this is where your user have M365 Copilot license, and everything that we discussed before will be available by default. So you can reasoning whatever over web data, you can reasoning over M365 Copilot data, and so on. And actually, for this kind of tools, you have the same build tools. You have Teams Toolkit, Agent Builder, and also the same with the Copilot Studio accessibility story. What is you have more in this kind of licensing when you have M365 Copilot license is that you have more channels in this kind of situation. So you have, beside publishing it to Copilot Chat, you can also publish to Word and PowerPoint with a vision from Microsoft that actually this kind of agent will be available anywhere you have the Copilot experience enabled. So maybe more Office application and so on in the future. For Copilot, for M365 Copilot Chat, the free one, and the M365 Copilot, from a channel perspective, there is a new channel that will come soon, and it will be enabled for us soon, which is the team group chat. So soon we will be able to publish our agent to a team group chat, and this will open another productivity channel that you can just share your agent in. So this is the M365 Copilot license. And then I will move to the third one. One of my favorite Copilot agent is the SharePoint agent. This is where you can build agent, which is available inside your SharePoint site and so on. From a license perspective, again, this come for free with the M365 Copilot license. But actually, also, if you don't want to license everyone with M365 Copilot, you can also go pay as you go. And again, another pro tip for you here, the SharePoint agent pay-as-you-go license is a little bit different than the Copilot Chat one, because it's follow the SharePoint pay-as-you-go plan in general, which is the premium syntax pay-as-you-go. So with this kind of plan, you need to go and enable this within your M365 admin center within the pay-as-you-go service in the admin center. From a build tools perspective, you have the SharePoint embedded builder, which is, I would say, a little bit variant of our agent builder. So you will not find all the information or all the capability which is available for agent builder with SharePoint embedded builder nowadays. But yeah, it will come soon. And soon also, SharePoint agent will be enabled to be extended by Copilot Studio to have actions, which is I really looking forward, because it will open a lot of accessibility platform for SharePoint, I would say. So this is everything we have regarding declarative agent, and I want to say at the end that once SharePoint declarative agent get announced, a lot of people in the market was saying, yeah, this is very simple. This is some kind of mega prompt, and that's it. And we can't have some kind of advanced use cases implemented with declarative agent. To be honest, from the beginning, I was not convinced with this kind of a statement. This is why I was pushing it to the max. And if anyone is telling you this nowadays, you can say that now we have with declarative agent a multi-agent orchestration agent built, and also we have a declarative agent who can think deep, connecting to some kind of a reasoning model in the background. So you can build a very, very advanced use case with declarative agent. You just need to think about declarative agent and its instruction as some kind of instructions that orchestrate the Copilot stack, bringing it to your agent as an agent stack as a service. So this, once you sort it from this kind of perspective, you can build really a very advanced use case with declarative agent, where your language skills to write English, your API landscape, and your imagination is the limit here. So this is everything we have regarding declarative agent. But to be completely fair here, sometimes you will hit a limit. Sometimes you have some kind of a use case when you wanted to summarize your whole week meetings and create some kind of report. You need an agent to help you with this. And maybe you know that we have some kind of limit with the search tool inside Copilot, that it can't retrieve more than 10 items in the single shot. Maybe you need to have all your emails, and this is where declarative agent may not work. Maybe also you have some kind of use case when you wanted to have full control over your agent response to you. So something that the Copilot Studio team saying as a user response. So you need to have a response over some kind of HR policy or whatever. Or maybe also you need to publish to a different channel than the one we have available here. This is where you need to go, and you need to jump to the custom engine agent when you need to have more control. And the first place you land is the Copilot Studio. And this is where also everything that we discussed about declarative agent also available for Copilot Studio. So you have the biz-as-you-go plan, you have the message pack, and also you have some kind of seeded license experience with M365 Copilot license, when you can only create agent with the classic, I would say, orchestration and only Microsoft Teams channel. With this kind of agent, the build tool, as you can imagine, it is just a Copilot Studio. And from a channel perspective, you can publish to a lot of channels, as you can see, Teams, web, mobile, and Facebook. And also for other channels, you can also go with Azure Bot Service and so on. So you have a lot of flexibility. And also one of the most requested channel for Copilot Studio, it will come this year with WhatsApp and SMS using the Azure Communication Service integration with Copilot Studio. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of more control to build advanced use case. But again, sometimes you really need to go very deep. You need to go advanced. You need to have control over everything in your stack from the infrastructure. You need to build your Azure because you are thinking about every millisecond. You need to have your own orchestration, semantic kernel, LangChain, or CrewUI, whatever you want. And this is where you need to go with custom engine agent over Azure. This is where you maybe build from like LLM from Azure AI Foundry or something, and then you have different tool to build like VS Code, Visual Studio, and then again from a channel perspective, it is completely open for you. You can publish to any channel, and with this kind of custom engine agent over Azure, you can even build unconventional AI agent when you have agent in the background that is power what I am calling agentic experience. So you can build some kind of experience that get its data from agent in the background, and you don't need to build agentic workflow or chat workflow in the first place. So I think this is all from my side. This is the different options we have for Microsoft AI Agent. I hope that you learned something new. I will be back in the background in chat, answer any questions that you may have. And thank you. And looking forward to come again and discuss with this group. Thank you, everyone, and to the next presenter. Yeah.
Awesome, Mahmoud. Thank you so much. I have to say, I do declare that your agents is awesome. Very, very good. Very helpful. Thank you. Call me Declarative David. I could be the next agent. Yeah. Great stuff. Thank you so much. All right. Next up is Stephanie Marshall, who is going to be talking about building a Power Automate flow using Copilot. So Stephanie, if you'd like to take on over the screen share, the stage is yours. You're muted though.
How's that? Can you hear me
There
now?
we go. Yep, I can hear you now.
Perfect. Thank you, David. I'm glad to be back with y'all. Today, I wanted to cover something that, we all are using more and more of, right? How you can leverage Copilot with the different Microsoft tools. And I'm going to focus on Power Automate. A little bit about me. I'm Stephanie Marshall. I'm a Power Platform developer and a lead consultant with Quisitive. I co-host a YouTube channel with Superfloof here, where we dive into Power Apps, Power Automate. I also share regular Power Platform updates on my social channels, so please feel free to connect. We're always around, except when it's ski joring season, which we've finally reached up here in Montana. So one of the things is I wanted to get the most out of my time so I could get outside and enjoy it. And that's where we can really leverage this powerful tool that Microsoft has given us, Copilot, to save time. Now, the why is important. Why should we care about Copilot? Why should we care about AI? I have people asking me, since they know I'm in the tech industry, is AI going to cause you to lose your job? And I tell them, no, AI isn't going to replace jobs, but people who know how to use AI will replace those that don't. Right. And I have a couple other things in there. I have something from LinkedIn and from Copilot, because of course that he had to get in on it. So change is the new normal, right? Especially with technology moving at lightning speeds. So tools like Copilot and Power Automate can really help us keep pace with everything. Together, they make it easier not just to survive, but to thrive, really thrive in a world of constant change, right? We're turning challenges into opportunities for creativity and growth. The natural language automation, which I'm going to show you here, is really amazing. The seamless integration, right? All of these Microsoft tools just work together. Error resolution. This is something that I had happen to me this week. When I run into problems with code, I usually go to the Google bots or I go to YouTube and watch Shane or Reza. I could not find the solution for something. I went to Copilot, and it just like that gave me exactly what I was looking for, using the natural language and some error resolution. And then, of course, process mining, right? This is a great way to dig through all of the data and really get to what you're wanting. Plus, it's always useful for emails, right? Just going to leave that there for a sec. Okay, so point in case, we have some breaking news. So just this last week, April Dunham posted a video that Plan Designer has been released for public preview in Power Apps. Now, David, I think you have a link to this announcement, but what this means is that you can turn this on, I'm going to show you this in a minute, and then work iteratively for Copilot to create a plan to address your business problems. And I did that for my demonstration today, right? You just put in a prompt, and Copilot will help you outline the business problem, map your user needs to your recommendations and tables and apps. So it really built out everything that I needed for this today. This is the prompt I used to create the tables. But before I get into more details, how long, because in the chat, someone was just saying he saved 4 hours. With this prompt, how long do you think it took Copilot to create it created 3 roles, 1 Canvas app, 2 model-driven apps, and 9 Dataverse tables, right? That's what everyone needed as a pop quiz. But, drum roll please, it took a whole 12 minutes, right? So 9 Dataverse tables, all linked. We had lookups, and I'll show you all that here in a minute. 12 minutes, 9 Dataverse tables, 3 Power Apps user experiences. It's pretty impressive stuff. I did a video of the whole process, and I sped up the boring part. So you can watch that on my YouTube channel later if you like. Here's a quick preview of it. So we'll get into that in a minute. Now, Copilot, and Shane Young said it really well, right? You need to find your love language with Copilot. This is one of the prompts that I'm going to show you here in a minute, but Copilot's going to frustrate you. It's going to take a little bit of tweaking, but your love language or the way you talk to Copilot will evolve as you see things differently, right? David likes to do audio effects. I like to do visuals. So here are the hearts again. Speaking of love language, don't forget that tomorrow is Valentine's Day, at least here in the States. I got my hubby some scotchy scotch, but don't tell him that. Okay, let's get into it. So these are the 3 prompts that I used or that I played with to really get into what we're going to go over today. So let me stop sharing my screen and pull up, share again, booyah. Okay, so if you want to play with the new designer, you have to come up here to the Power Apps experience and turn it on. And here's the onboarding solution that I created. Give it a sec. Okay, so if I scroll up, I need a way to automate new employee onboarding. So created, and I can zoom out, created the 3 roles, new employee, HR manager, IT support. Then it created a Canvas app for the new employee onboarding, created HR onboarding, model-driven, and IT support onboarding, model-driven. Gives us all of the details here of the personas and 9 Dataverse tables. And I can click here and show details, and it'll pull up for us all the tables with all the connections. So 12 minutes got me training modules, training completion, new employees, all of this fun stuff. So let's get into, one thing I want to cover as I go back. Copilot is kind of a moving target. You see here that it has placeholders for the flows, right? But if I hover just right, recommended flows can't be created yet. Check back for future updates. So let's build it since Copilot can't for us. So I'm going to open up Flow and learn a love language. So the first prompt that I used was this one. Okay. And this, hopefully it's quick today. I did record this so we can speed it up if it takes too long. Okay, so this gave us a start. It's close, pretty close, but I wanted to give it to you 3 ways. So here's the second one, a Power Automate. Create a Power Automate flow that triggers when a new employee is added to a Dataverse table. Okay, not even close to what we're wanting, but what I wanted to show you is if you get rid of Power Automate in the prompt, we get a completely different response. And I know this because I read the Cliff Notes. So when a row is added or modified, send an email, list rows, send an email. Now, if I wanted to, I could get other options just from this one. So we have all sorts of options here. So it's not quite the prompt that I want. So we're going to use this one here today because Copilot is a moving target, right? Things change on a daily basis. I'm going to take, well, yeah, we will use this one. Okay, so there we go. Almost right. So I'm going to click next. It grabs my connections. I'm going to create the flow. Now, when it first loads, we're going to get invalid parameters, and that's okay because Power Automate tried to fill out things for us here, and it's not exactly right. So what we want to do is when an item is added to our new employee table, so added, which table? And I've got a bunch of tables, but I can just type new employee, and there it is. We don't want scope. Again, Copilot was trying to help me, but what we really want here is organization. Now, once a new employee gets added, look at what Copilot's done for us. It's even started building out the emails. Now, I recorded this just because Copilot is a work in progress. Let's see here. I went to Copilot and I said, let's build out the email a little bit more, right? Can you add to the email body something about who to contact in HR? Now, I was recording all this in case Copilot decided not to work today. And in one screen, what you see on the right is what I got. And on the other screen, I got a completely different response. And this is what it gave me on the 2 screens. So this is where that love language that Shane Young talks about is really coming into play. If you don't get what you want right away, try something else. Try it differently. Because eventually you two are going to be talking the same language. So get out of there. So it tried to give me a 2-body email, but that I know from experience that's not going to work. So we can come to the lightning bolt. And what we really want is the email that's added by HR when someone's added to the system. And if we hover over these 2 options, get a row by ID is where this one is pulled from. Not what we want. We probably want to make this a little friendlier. Welcome. Who are we welcoming? We're going to go back to the lightning bolt and grab the first name of the employee. Now, something I always like to do on these emails for plausible deniability is add in this. This is an automated email. So then people can't, well, when they reply to it, because you know they're going to reply to it, and they say, well, you didn't tell me. Well, there you have some coverage saying, yeah, I really did. And this is going to be send an email. Always annotate or make notes here so your coworkers don't hate you. Send an email to new employee. Now, because we're using the new experience, I can drag this and move it up here, but this isn't what we want, right? We want this to be not get a row by ID because there could be multiple softwares that the IT person is going to need to send to the person. So the first part of this flow is going to be send a message to the employee, welcoming them. And then the second part, which I think I forgot to tell you at the start, sorry about that, is we're going to send an email to IT with all of the software that the employees are going to need. So let's go to the Copilot, because get a row by ID is going to give us 1 row. We want to get all of the softwares that the employee might need. So if we look at these tables and we go back to our data plan and software access, and here we can view the data right from the GUI interface. So for our different employees, they have different software accesses that they're going to need. So we want to go out and look at this table and figure out which employee needs which software. So I'm going to go back to the Copilots, and instead of using a get a row by ID, because that's going to be a one-to-one and we want one-to-many, let's ask Copilot. Let's change get a row to list rows. And there it did it for me. It did a little bit of other funkiness, but that's why you annotate your stuff. We want this one to be first, we want this one to be here, and then we want this one down here. Perfect. So now we have to reconnect everything, and you see we have invalid connection. That's because you have to come down here and reconnect your account to this. So don't panic. My first rule of this is don't panic. We'll figure it out. New employee, no, this is going to be software. Software accesses. Now we want to filter the information from software by the employee's name, the one that was added, right? So let's go back to the Copilots because we want to do an OData filter query. We don't want to get everything. We just want to get the software for this employee. So to the Copilots. And if this doesn't work, I have a video to show you what it should give us, because it's going to look at your data structure and tell you how you should do it. So let me pull up this here, because here it told us the overall of how to do it. Now, one thing I want to show you is if we go back to our data structure and I pull software access up here by new employee and we click on it, this is a lookup column. So from employee first name to software access, that's a lookup column. So OData filter queries can be a little tricksy here. So let me pull up the video, because I did get it to give me exactly what I wanted, even with the columns. So whoop, where did that go? Come back. There. Well, it's not pausing for me, but anyway, it did give us the columns that we needed specifically from my data tables. And I did record the whole thing of this, so you can go watch that on YouTube if you're feeling sporty. But we're going to come in, and I have the code over here. We're going to filter our lookup column by the first name. And then we want that to equal and you have to use single tick marks here, the first name of the employee that was added. And then we want to send an email. But before we send an email, right, so we're going to have multiple softwares in here, right? Now, if we don't do another step, we're going to have the send an email in a for all loop because there's multiple softwares that an individual employee could have. So let's add a variable. And when you're creating variables, you're going to initialize the variable first. Before you can use it, you have to initialize it. So we're going to call this var software. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to add it up here because you always want to annotate these so your coworkers don't hate you. And now what we want to do is add everything from the list rows into that variable. So I did go to the Copilot for this, and let's see here. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So let's just ask it, add a append to string variable at the end. See if it works today. Hey, moving target. So it added a scope action. Now scopes are great because you can collect everything, but that's not quite what we want, and that's okay. It's a love language, it's a work in progress. And what doesn't work today may work tomorrow. So I'm just going to add a variable, append a string. And what are we going to append a string here? We're going to append a string our variable. Now, what do we want this to say, right? We want to grab in what we're going to put in the email. So we're going to start with some CSS or HTML. So strong is vernacular for bold. So we're going to have the software name. And what is the software? We're going to go back here to list rows. Oh, invalid connection. Change connection, go back. Software accesses. We happy now? Okay, we're good. Okay, so paste that back in. And so the software is going to be from that. If we hit see more, we've got a bunch of stuff here, but what we really want is the name of the software, and you can just filter it by that. Now back to the Copilot, because if we look at our software access table, and I'll pull it over here for us, there is a date that the employee needs to have this software by. So we're going to want to put that in the email to IT so they know they have a deadline. So back to the Copilot, because if I just put the date in there from the table, it's going to give us the date and the Zudo time and all that fun stuff. Check this out. If I go to formula, we have Copilot integrated into every part of this. Remember how I said it's all integrated? Here we go. So let us, I want it to be the month, day, year format. And you could do whatever you wanted there. And what I love is, check this out. It gave me 3 options. It looked at the tables that I've already added to this flow and pulled in the options, the created on date, the now date, or the body created on date. Now, again, Copilot is a little bit inconsistent because what we actually want is the access date, and that's okay. This will give us the bones of what we want, right? That's the meat and potatoes of it. So what we can do is come in here, just delete that, and now go to dynamic content. And what we actually want is the access date. And there it is right there. So click add. You'll notice it added it to a for all loop for me, or a for each loop for me. And then here we have the email. Copilot has again helped us out. It's like, okay, there's the email address of the IT department from the data tables that I've given them. Not what we're going to use in this instance, but it's so helpful, right? So the subject line is new employee onboarding. Let's leave this part. And look, please ensure the following software is set up. I didn't tell it to do any of this. Y'all saw that, right? So let's do a hard return in here. And what we actually want to do, a new employee has been added. Who is the new employee? Go back to the lightning bolt. We want to do first name. And when a row is added, first name. And let's do last name. And then personally, I don't know about y'all, but there could be 15 John Smiths in your organization. I always like to put an email in there. So there's their email address. Please ensure the following software is set up. Now we can just leverage our variable, and it'll put in there everything that we need, and then our little disclaimer. Now, because this triggers off of a flow or off of a new employee being added, I have one, I forgot to pull that up, I'm sorry, but let me.
And hey, Steph, while you're pulling that up,
Yep.
just a real quick time check for us for
I'm done.
for the well,
I am absolutely done. That was it. I was just going to show you the emails that come in and say, hey, you know, this is successful. And I was going to show that in the flow, it'll give you the little green circles showing that everything worked. But that was it. Here's the email. Let me pull it up. And I am done. Todd, the floor is yours. I did do a full recording in case everything decided to go sideways on me today that I'll post to my YouTube channel. If you want to see the whole thing, have at it. Any questions? I'll be in the chat after this.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, Steph. This is really cool. And always a challenge with Copilot, everybody. So I always appreciate all the brave souls that get on here and do that. So excellent. Very, very cool. And those links are in the chat as well. They'll be in the show notes for those watching on demand. All right. Last but not least, of course, is a Mr. Dad Joke, Todd Klindt, making your first Copilot agent in SharePoint. And we might go long a little bit, everybody. So if you have to drop, you can catch the end of the thrilling conclusion online as soon as the video drops soon. Todd, the floor is yours.
I hope to be big on YouTube at some point. Yes. So a couple of weeks ago, on January 21st, Vesa did a video on how to make your first Copilot in SharePoint, showing the whole site one. So go back and watch that. Not right now. Hold tight here, but sometime go back and watch that. And David's going to put the link in the chat there. But this is going to be kind of a continuation of that. But I did want to cover a couple of things that Vesa covered in his session, just to kind of remind everybody. The Copilots in SharePoint are no-code solutions. They're not even low-code, they're no-code. If you were technically savvy enough to join this meeting, you know enough to create a Copilot agent in SharePoint. Or if you were able to navigate to YouTube and find this video, you are also technically savvy enough to make these agents. They're super easy to use. Anybody can do it. No code whatsoever. And they will consume all of your SharePoint data. Now, not all of it. There's a caveat there, and David's going to have a link in the chat to a fact that covers some of this. But think of this as a way to consume like your Office data, your Word files, your Excel files, PowerPoints, things like that, out of your document libraries. List data is not available to Copilot. They say yet, but when you're crafting your solutions, just think about this as document libraries, and your pages library is not available. So your pages in your site. So think of it as your collaboration content. Like Vesa showed in his video, when you create a site, an agent is already created. A whole site agent is already created. But luckily for us, sites can have many agents. So we're going to create an additional agent. We're going to hone it. We're going to craft it a little bit to make it do what we want. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. Before we get too far along, I want to show you all my vanity slides so that you can contact me with all of your questions and all of that. This is me. I'm in all these calls. I'm in the Tuesday calls all the time. So whenever you want to chat, just hit me up. I'm a consultant at some Praxis. I've been doing this SharePoint thing for a while. You can hit me up on the socials. I'm at Todd Klindt everywhere, Instagram, wherever. And I've got a website. And let's jump right into the demo. Okay, so we're sitting here in SharePoint, and we've got a SharePoint site up. I've called this one the Copilot test site, so I can never forget what it does. And the only thing that you need to get this done is a license inside of SharePoint and a Copilot license. So you'll notice I've got the little Copilot thing up there. Anybody that can create a file inside of SharePoint can create one of these Copilot agents. These agents are just files. They are .agent files, and these files are plain text files or JSON files. So creating one of these is as easy as creating a Word document or whatever. So as you're thinking about your governance and how these agents show up, that's something to keep in mind. Anybody that has permission to create a file can create one of these agents. And where should you create these agents? You can create them anywhere. My guidance to you is that you should create your agent, again, this .agent file that gets created. You should create it as close to the data that you want it to consume as possible. So right now I'm sitting at the root of the site, so I could create one here and it would consume the data from the whole site. I could also go into one of my document libraries and I can still create one here. So I've got a document library here that has HR data in it, employee handbooks, security presentations, things like that. I've got a document library here that has statements of work in it, so I can make an agent that looks over those and helps me create my next statement of work. Or I've got a document library here that has product information. So if I want to ask questions about products, compare them, things like that. Wherever I want to have this agent do its work is where I should click that and create that agent. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, this is bad IA. I shouldn't have all of this stuff in one site. I should have a product site, statements of work site, and whatever. You're not wrong. That's much better information architecture than what I've got. But in reality, we all have sites like this, so it's good to know how to handle these different things. But for me, I want to create one with this. And so now we're to the how. We've got the who. Anybody can create one. We've got the where. Again, wherever your data is at. The how. We're going to click this. Now, by default, we've got this agent icon right here. And we could ask it questions, but we want to create a new one. So we want to create an agent. Couldn't be easier. By default, it gives us the name of the location that we created in. So it's calling it Documents Agent. That's a really bad name. It's just named after the Documents library over there. One thing to keep in mind is these agents are cross-site, so I can move this agent around. So I don't want to have it be called Documents because every site has a document library called Documents. So you don't want to have confusion as to which one it's going to be in. I will show you later how to rename this. It's super simple. By Todd Klindt. Again, this is just a document, so that's just the owner. The source, this is where I'm at. So this is kind of why I told you to create your agent where your data's at, because it's going to create that as a source automatically. Now, when Vesa did his video, he showed off that he could create an agent in less than 20 seconds. It really only took him like 10 or 15. I would argue that this is even faster because if you look down here, this agent is already ready. Just by clicking that button, the agent is ready to go. I can click Open Agent here. I can start interacting with my HR documents just as it is. But if I know the people on this call, the PNP crowd, we're not that kind of folks. We see an edit button like here. We got to click in there. We got to see what's going on in there. So when we click that, we get in here. We have 3 different tabs across the top, and I'm going to cover each of those a little bit. The first one is the name. So I talked about how it's just named after the document library we created it in. So this one's called Documents. I like something a little more friendly. So I want the folks in HR to have a good face. So I created this one, and I'm calling it Helen from HR. So this is the Helen bot. Helen's going to answer all of your HR questions. And you can see over here on the right, we can test this agent in real time, which with AI is very handy. And as soon as I renamed it, it showed up over here. So that's really helpful to let you see what you're doing. Now, I can also give it a better icon. So I don't like the bland T. So I had ChatGPT make me an icon. I just went into ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, I'm making an agent. It's called Helen from HR. Make me a picture of Helen from HR. And this is what it gave me. So I've got a friendly little face over there, and then a description. So this is what folks are going to see when they're picking their agent in SharePoint. This is the description they're going to see. So make sure that it's got something, informational that'll help them pick it. So I've got this is Helen in HR. Ask her all of your HR related questions. You can't stump her, and I can't type apparently. That's okay. So whatever you want to put. Now that doesn't show up over here because that shows up in the picker on the right over there. So let's go ahead and save this. Mahmoud mentioned that you're going to be able to edit these in Copilot Studio soon. If you try to do it now, it just tells you it's coming soon. They're building anticipation. It's they're getting us excited about it. I can't wait to see what they do once we get in there. Okay, so we've got this saved. Now, one thing I told you is it's just a file, so we can go look and see that file right here. We can see this is the document library with all of our HR data in it. And now we've got this Helen from HR file right there. So that's where it starts out. It doesn't stay there. There's excitement. Helen's going to move. She's going to pack her bags, but I'll show you that here in a couple of slides. So now we go to our sources. So by default, it adds the source where you create the agent. And again, if you create it at the front page of the site, then it creates the whole site. But since I created it in the document library, it's going to add that document library. I can come in, I can add more places. So let's say I want to also add my products because why not? Or, so this will add the whole products thing. I can also just add individual files if I wanted. These can be grounded in a site, a library, a folder, or a file. So any of those 4 or any combination of those, up to 20, you get 20 sources in here. The other thing that I wanted to mention is if you've got some more HR data in another site, you can paste the URL to another SharePoint site in here, and it will let you browse the other SharePoint site. So your sources can be multiple sites. And so I'm going to leave that here. Actually, I'm going to add one so that I can save it again. So I'm going to add this statement of work for Alan Smithy right there. We'll add that so you can see. And then if you want to remove anything, you can do it there. So I will save that again and again. You can test this immediately. So as soon as you put a source in, you can ask your AI questions and see what it says. So the last tab here, behavior, again, just kind of tells your bot how to behave. So I want to put a fun description in here. This is what your users will see for their welcome prompt. So yes, and Mahmoud mentions that if you add a hub site, all of the sites that roll up to that are included in that source. That's a very good tip. Yeah. So here is a welcome message. It shows up over here. So this is what your users will see when they fire this up. One of my favorite parts of this is the starter prompts. And I like these starter prompts for 2 reasons. One of them is whenever I'm using agents, Stefan talked about how you can get blind as to the way to use things, and sometimes you just need something to help you out. I like these starter prompts because they give me an idea what kind of questions to ask different agents. So I like putting those in so that this gives your users, kind of lets you prime the pump a little bit, kind of guide them down the way that you want them to use your agent. The other thing is any of these that you put in, your users can just click. So if they want to know what the PTO policy is, they can just click it and it populates it down here. If they want to know if they can bring their cat to work, they can populate that and it'll just bring it in down there. And finally, we have the option to give a instruction for the agent. So this is secret little instructions. If you've used other LLMs, you might recognize this as a system prompt, but this is telling the agent how to interact with the users. So I'm telling it, hey, your name is Helen. Please provide accurate information about the questions that are asked, and use a friendly tone when responding. So that guides it on how to respond to your users. I did try to make it respond with a mean tone. It would not do that. The Copilot would just give me an error when I did that. I was able to get Helen to reply with a snarky tone, though. So if you want a little sass with your HR, you can do that. Chris asks, is there a way to deploy this to a test group before publishing it for all users? There sure is, and that is a great lead up. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. So now we've got our agent done and we've saved it out. So let's see what happens when we use it. So we've got Helen from HR here. I think I already asked it if we can bring our cat to work, but let's try again. See what happens. It's coming up. It's coming through. Yes, you can bring your cat to work. Now, the great thing about that is not only does it tell you you can bring your cat to work, but it gives you your references as Copilot does. So I like that. So Paul is mentioning, did you know that you can mention this in Teams? You can, and I will show you how to do that here in just a second. But copy the link in Teams, so you can do this. You can copy it. You can paste it into Teams. You can share this with other people. So Chris asked about that. One of the things that you can do is set as approved. So right now, this Helen from HR file just sits in here. And since it's a file, another cool thing that I can do is it's got version history. So I was saving it along the way as I created it. If I mess this agent up completely, I screw it up or I delete over my starter prompts or something, I can just revert back to a previous version. But our agent, Helen, is perfect just as she is. So let's go ahead and approve her. So if I approve her, a couple of fun things happen. So set as an approved agent. Yes, version history, hooray. Okay, so it says that it's going to move her. So you can see in the background there, Helen got moved. Helen got a promotion. She's now got a corner office, and Helen is now in the Site Assets Copilot's approved folder. So that is one fun thing that happens. So that's something to know is you're playing with these and you've been used to interacting with her by clicking in her in the document library. Now she's going to be in here. But another fun thing that happens is when you open up Copilot, now she shows up here on the top. So Chris, to answer your question, before you approve her, she's going to only show up in the document library and you're going to have to click her to use her. So that's how your test users will use her. When you're ready to roll it out, then you approve it and it shows up as the approved in this list, which is right there. So that's two things that are cool. Another fun thing is once I've got her chosen and she's approved, I can make her the site default. So since we've got this as an HR kind of site, I can go in here and I can say, make this the default. And now when people open up Copilot, they get Helen by default, they get the friendly face. And then if they want to pick another Copilot, they can do that. So the last thing I wanted to mention about governance is if you've got a few of these and they're approved or not approved or whatever, if you want to delete them, the only thing you need to do is just delete the file. And that is where delete go. There you go. So you can delete the file. The other thing you can do if you're the curious sort is you can download it. Again, it's a JSON file. And so you can open up, you can actually edit it and upload it again. Or if you really like this, to Chris's question about test users, you can create it in one location. You can download it and upload it to another site and it will work perfectly. You can, it'll show up in there. You can approve it. You can do all that stuff. So the governance and the workflow is a little odd, but it's just a file. So you just treat it like a file. Okay. Do you have to have a Copilot license to view these agents? Yes, you have to have a Copilot license. If you don't have a Copilot license, that doesn't pop up. Now, the good news is if you've got to pay as you go or whatever, it will all work. So I think that is my 15 minutes. David, let me actually bring up my vanity slide one more time in case anybody wants to get a hold of me. And I think it's back to the LA studios.
Awesome stuff, Todd. Thank you so much. And really cool walkthrough there. Appreciate that. Yeah, we'll get to the point where I think it's like 1 second, right? Like you can create, oh wait, it's already done. I didn't even have to think about it. That's pretty awesome. Okay, well, thank you to Mahmoud, Stephanie, and Todd, all three of our amazing presenters today. You are rocking the stage, so we appreciate everything that you're doing there for us. Just a little bit of housekeeping for us. If you would like to collaborate with the rest of the community in a Discord server, we have one available to each and every one of you. And you can wow your kids that you are on Discord. So check it out. Over 2,400 members. It's a great way to kind of have that one-stop shop to be able to collaborate with other members of the community. And of course, we would love to get some feedback from you. Are these calls working for you? Are there areas that we could potentially improve? Even if you've provided it already, we'd love to hear it again. Helps us ensure that we are providing you the best experience that we can. The recording will be available in 24 hours or less on the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. Go subscribe, like and subscribe, smash that subscribe button, aka.ms/community/YouTube, and you will be alerted as soon as it is available. Follow us on Twitter /X or Blue Sky or LinkedIn. We will be socializing all of that there as well. The next Microsoft 365 Power Platform bi-weekly call 2 weeks from today, February 27th. The next BV Connections SharePoint Framework 1 week from today, every Thursday, 7 a.m. Pacific time. Get those invites downloaded from aka.ms/community/calls. Thank you, everybody. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.
On behalf of the flight
Bye-bye, and thank you,
for
David.
flying with
Awesome
us,
job.
And have a pleasant day.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.